Virgin River has given us some of the most romantic, emotional, and heart-wrenching love stories ever, but some of what's happening with the cast's off-screen romance is even more dramatic, and the gap between who they play on screen and who they actually are in real life is something you are not ready for. Let's start with some of the faces you love but don't follow as closely off-screen. Colin Lawrence, who plays Preacher, has been married to actress Lucia Walters for years. The 55-year-old Colin and his wife, Lucia Walters, met in an acting class in 1997 and something clicked immediately. But here's where it gets genuinely wild. When Colin decided he wanted to propose, he turned it into a scene. They staged a fake audition together, acting out a couple fighting, and right in the middle of it, Colin just started proposing, completely catching Lucia off guard in the most unexpectedly perfect way. They got married in 1999 and have now been together for over 25 years with 2 daughters. And because apparently their lives needed to be even more of a movie, they've actually played romantic interests on screen together in Virgin River seasons 4 and 5. Then there's the 45-year-old Zibby Allen, who portrays Bree and is married to Adam James Blair. She was in Scotland, performing at the Edinburgh Fringe Festival in 2015 when she crossed paths with her husband, and they eventually married in 2018. They keep things mostly private, which makes the moments they do share even more impactful, because in December 2024, Adam posted an appreciative post about Zibby, saying, "It's not our anniversary, nor your birthday, or any other occasion that might encourage me to post something about you. Rather, this is a wife appreciation post. Just want you to know that I love everything about you. You're smart, funny, talented, patient, understanding, empathetic, and drop-dead gorgeous." Marco Grazzini, who plays Mike, has been with actress Alvina August since 2014. The 45-year-old Marco met Alvina on Tinder around the same time. Alvina had only logged on to promote her music, but when Marco commented on one of her videos, everything changed. They spent 3 months getting to know each other digitally before their first in-person date, which turned into an 8-hour table tennis marathon, and then 3 more dates that same week. Marco proposed in June 2019 during a romantic trip to Bali, Indonesia, and Alvina responded with a yes. Then, in April 2023, they announced their first pregnancy, and their baby girl arrived in September 2023. It gets interesting with the 41-year-old Ben Hollingsworth, who plays Brady, and has been happily married to lingerie designer and bar method teacher Neela Myers since November 2012. They both share 3 children, sons Gatsby and Hemingway, and daughter Juniper. But before all of that, Ben was in a long-term relationship with the Vampire Diaries star Nina Dobrev. The pair were roommates first before becoming a couple in 2006 and were together for the next 3 years. When Ben talked about her in a 2021 interview, he referred to her as "my good friend, Nina Dobrev," suggesting they parted on genuinely good terms. Now, stay with us because what's coming later in this video about the rest of the cast is something you absolutely need to hear. The 43-year-old Alexandra Breckenridge, who plays Mel Monroe and the emotional core of Virgin River, has quite an interesting love story. Alexandra told this story herself, narrating how she was home alone in her Los Angeles apartment in 2011, cooking a chicken when her friend Shannon Woodward called and said she was coming over and bringing Katy Perry with her. Katy tried the chicken, loved it, and invited Alexandra to her Grammy after-party in February 2012. Alexandra went, and that is where she met Casey Hooper, Katy Perry's lead guitarist, the man who played the Super Bowl halftime show. They hit it off immediately. By June 2012, they were already making red carpet appearances together. By September 2014, Alexandra announced their engagement on Instagram, and in September 2015, they got married in an intimate outdoor ceremony at Dunton Hot Springs in Colorado, in the middle of a field surrounded by mountains. They had their son Jack in 2016 and their daughter Billy in 2017. Alexandra once said about Jack's birth, "When Jack was born, I experienced a kind of love I never had before. I loved my husband more than anything, and then I had a child, and that is a totally different level of love." And then they did something even more surprising. They left Los Angeles entirely and moved to rural Georgia to raise their kids away from the noise of the city. Alexandra described it, saying the rural areas of Georgia had a sense of community that they were missing in LA. But it gets crazier with the 78-year-old Tim Matheson, who portrays Vernon Doc Mullins on Virgin River. He is currently married to Elizabeth Marighetto, and they wed in 2018. He was previously married twice, to Jennifer Leake and then to Megan Murphy, with whom he spent over 25 years before their divorce in 2010. But in November 2024, Tim Matheson published a memoir called Damn Glad to Meet You, and what he put in that book about his younger self is so completely at odds with the man sitting behind that clinic desk in Virgin River that it will genuinely change how you watch him on screen. In the memoir, Tim described an incident from the night before his 33rd birthday in full detail. He had already been with 2 other women that day while his girlfriend was supposedly in New York. Then his phone rang, and it was Kirstie Alley. He said, Yes, I didn't call Kirstie. She called me because we were pals. You know, she said, hey, I want to come over, and I said, okay, come on over. This was before Kirstie Alley became a household name. Tim invited her over and they got together. And then, while the 2 of them were still in his bedroom, his girlfriend walked through the front door and caught them. Tim later wrote that Kirstie claimed she had tried to will herself invisible. His girlfriend fled and he chased after her, begging, making Kirstie leave instantly to avoid confrontation. And here is where it gets interesting. Kirstie Alley did once tell a story about escaping through a window after she was caught with a man, but she never identified the man involved. But later, entertainment blogs connected it with Tim's memoir and speculated that the 2 stories might be the same incident. And it gets even better with the 51-year-old Martin Henderson, who plays Jack Sheridan, the romantic lead the entire show is built around. He has never been married, and his real-life love story is one of the most fascinating ongoing mysteries in this whole cast. Right now, Martin is believed to be in a relationship with New Zealand interior designer Penny Hay. They reportedly live together on Great Barrier Island in New Zealand. He has never confirmed it. Before Penny, he was in a confirmed relationship with Mexican model Aisha Mendez in 2020. They went public on Instagram, posted vacation pictures together, and looked genuinely happy. And then Martin quietly deleted all of it from his Instagram. And before Aisha, there is the rumor that has followed Martin Henderson around since 2012 and refuses to go away. He was reportedly linked to Demi Moore right after her very public split from Ashton Kutcher. Paparazzi caught them grocery shopping and having lunch together. One of Demi's friends reportedly told a tabloid at the time that she really did develop feelings for Martin, and when it did not work out, it hit her hard on top of everything else she was already going through. Martin himself publicly commented only on Demi's divorce, saying he felt for her and for anyone with that level of celebrity who could not lead a normal life. He never addressed the romantic link at all. He also appeared in Britney Spears' Toxic music video, had a 2-year stint on Grey's Anatomy, and has been linked over the years to multiple actresses he worked with, though he has never confirmed any of them either. He once joked to Glamour about Jack's on-screen proposal, saying he hoped that when he proposed in real life, he would already know what the answer was going to be because he would hate to be in a situation where it was 50-50. That was the closest Martin Henderson has ever come to discussing his romantic life publicly. The 73-year-old Annette O'Toole, who plays Hope, is married to Michael McKean, and they first crossed paths back in the 1970s when he was doing Laverne and Shirley. They had mutual friends, bumped into each other at screenings, but never really knew each other. Then, in 1997, they met again on the set of a Lifetime movie called Final Justice. Michael was actually in a relationship at the time, so nothing happened romantically, but they became friends. Annette was living in Oregon and Michael was in LA. They stayed in touch the only way they could, through email. One evening, Michael called and asked if she wanted to go on a date, and their first date was a benefit concert featuring Bob Dylan, Joni Mitchell, and Van Morrison. Annette said afterwards, "I would have married him that day." They tied the knot in March 1999, and between them, they brought 4 children into the marriage. Annette has 2 daughters, Nell and Anna, from her previous marriage. Michael has 2 sons, Fletcher and Colin, who tragically passed away in 2012.